Hello, welcome to the Be a Boss Mama, Grow Your Business While Growing Your Babies virtual speaker series. I am your host, Michelle Miller, and I am so excited to introduce our guest speaker, Jacqueline Miller of Get Your Life Strategist. Jacqueline, can you tell us a little bit about yourself and your business?
Certainly. I am Jacqueline Miller, as you stated. I'm known in social media as Mobile Mom du jour, but I've tagged myself, actually someone tagged me as the Get Your Life Strategist because I literally love empowering women. And it's so important that when women come to us for help, and that's something that as women we oftentimes don't do, but when they do, I tell them what they need to hear, not always what they want to hear. So I think that's where the tag Get Your Life Strategist came from. Jacqueline du jour Enterprises is a premier coaching organization. We do coaching, we do speaking. I'm an author. And my goal with my business is to have women who are busy, oftentimes unfulfilled, reconnect with their pre-mom dreams so that they can realize that it's okay to have a purpose outside of motherhood. There's no crime in it, doing it guilt-free, and it's okay to be the woman that they want to be as a mom and not just simply the one that society has deemed is the definition of motherhood.
Yeah, I agree. There's, when you become a mom, you kind of can go into shock, like, oh my gosh, it's such a life-changing event, like probably the biggest life-changing event. And you can lose yourself. And sometimes that causes, depression, and it's just a downward spiral after that. So I also agree that, staying true to who you were before you're a mom and, living your dreams that you had before.
Exactly. And it's one of the reasons why I registered my tagline, because it's something that I had always felt, something that I had always said. And my company's tagline is motherhood is not where dreams go to die. And it's just the reminder that I think we as women that have become moms have to face on a daily basis.
Yeah, I agree. I love that tagline. I've actually been using that a little bit myself because it's perfect. Can you talk about how you started coaching? What brought you to that?
Oh, definitely. My background from a career standpoint is human resources. I worked for over a decade for a very large IT healthcare firm. I headed up their human resources division, human capital management, talent acquisition. I did it all. But I found myself very much on a regular basis being the person involved with conflict resolution. Obviously, with talent acquisition, I did a lot of interviewing, career management. So I had been coaching within my corporate career for years. However, I ended up becoming a life strategist in 2014 when I discovered that my last son leaving for college had left me with no plans for my life. I had since left corporate America and had been dedicating myself, to being a great mom and doing other things. I'm also a blogger, so I love to write. But it was then that I realized I hadn't defined my next. And when I say my next, it's that phase of life when your children are no longer little babies and you have more of it for yourself. And I started asking some friends, can you give me some suggestions? What do you think my strengths are? What do you think my areas, requiring some building up are? And every one of them kept saying, well, you're a great resource. You're a great resource. You're someone who listens. Whenever I have an issue, whether it's, in my marriage, with my kids, with my career, life in general, I come to you. And I took that bit of information and went out to California in your neck of the woods in November of 2014. And I went to a conference held by transformational speaker and one of the featured teachers in the movie The Secret, Lisa Nichols. And she pulled me aside and asked me why I was there, and I literally didn't know. Well, let me tell you, within less than an hour of hearing my story, hearing what my passions were, she said, Jacqueline, you ought to be coaching. There are women out here, particularly moms, who need to hear your story. They need to be in your space. You're full of information. You're full of energy. You're full of insight. Take your passion and monetize it. And that's literally how I stumbled into my career outside of corporate life as a coach.
Wow, that is so amazing. I love your story. It's so powerful. Um, can you maybe give some advice to a mom that is wanting to start their own business, but they really just don't know how to do it?
Sure. First of all, I say this all the time because I have this question posed often. Entrepreneurship is not for the faint heart. It is not for everyone. It seems like this wonderful life, which it is for those who become successful, but it doesn't for most of us happen overnight. It takes a lot of work, dedication, and focus, and it's a lot of the things that I just discuss in my book, Get Your Life, that I just released in October. All the things that need to be in place. First of all, it helps to know what skill set you have that can be monetized. And it's not as simple as saying, I'm going to start a business based on my passion, because what we're passionate about is not necessarily what we're gifted in. For example, anyone who knows me knows that I'm passionate about singing. I'm a passionate karaoke, stage performer. That's not my gift. I can't go out here and demand, money of the top stars. So it's not always your passion, but find that thing, as I say to people, that makes you, I don't know, like giggle inside, that gets you excited when you think about it. Something, and it's an old cliche, but something that you would do even if you weren't getting paid for it, but you'd still feel fulfilled at the end of the day because you served someone, you provided a product, and it excited you. But in getting into the business aspect of it, there's so many things you need to do. First of all, you've got to be good at time management, organizational skills. You've got to be willing to invest in yourself, which is a financial investment. You need to have people who are supporting you, because entrepreneurship is not a one-woman game. I have what I call a tribe of people who are in my corner, whom I can go to for advice, for encouragement. And without them, I don't know if I would have reached this point in my career. And if you're married, having your spouse on board, he doesn't have to be sitting there with you, going over your business plans and your accounting and such. But when you say, honey, I'm going to need the next 3 hours, in my office alone because I've got to work on X, Y, Z, you need someone who's going to say, great, go ahead. We'll either go out to dinner afterwards, or, I'll see you at the end of the 3 hours. Not someone who's going to be questioning, why are you doing this? You really want to get not just your spouse, but your children on team you before you venture off into entrepreneurship. It's just a few of the tips that I could give. There's so many others.
I love all of that. I definitely rely on my calendar and try to schedule in everything, every little thing. Not so much as some people I've heard schedule, like brush your teeth, but not that detailed. But it's definitely important to be the most productive and organized. Is putting everything in my calendar. My to-do list goes in my calendar. It has a date. It's not just this everlasting list that just stays in my phone and slowly I knock things off. So it's definitely important to manage our time, and to have support is so important. Like, I couldn't do all of this without the support of my coach, my community, my family, and enrolling my children. That I'm glad you brought that up, because my daughter, she's 10 and she's my biggest cheerleader.
Mhm.
Is she sees me lit up when I'm working, and she's like, Mom, this is the way you work the best, is like on your laptop and in bed. Which is great. That's one of the benefits of having my own business, is I get to create my own schedule and work at home and be with my kids and work in bed if I want.
Exactly. And you're setting the example for your daughter that you can do this. You know, there's so many people who won't allow themselves to fly, as I say. They have this mindset that the only way to make a living is to work for someone else. I grew up, you know, under those conditions. Both my parents were blue collar workers. They worked very hard, but no one spoke to me about entrepreneurship growing up. So it's, I think it's such a huge benefit that your children, my children, get to see not just entrepreneurship firsthand, but they get to see their moms, because, you know, for so many years, women couldn't even, you know, didn't even work outside of the home. But now we're working, and we're working doing what we love, and we're following our dreams. And as I tell moms all the time, how can you authentically inspire your children to follow their dreams if they're watching you miserable, if they're watching you go to a place of employment that you're dreading and you're hitting that snooze button repeatedly every morning? To have your daughter witness you being happy and being able to speak to that, that's just an amazing, amazing story.
Yeah, and what is really cool, like recently with my daughter, she saw that, she found out that I had a dream to go to Thailand. She had a homework assignment, and it was write 5 places in the world that you'd like to see. So she's asking me, Mom, where would you want to go? And I said, well, I really want to go to Thailand. It's been a dream of mine for a long time. And I pulled up Pinterest and I showed her pictures of Thailand, and she's like, oh, I want to go with you. And I said, oh, I don't know. This is a big trip. It's really far away. It will probably be with some girlfriends. And she's like, no, I want to go. And she didn't like that. She normally travels with me. And so her grandmother takes all the grandchildren somewhere, and she went and told her grandma, I want to go to Thailand. And her grandma is taking her to Thailand next week or next month for 15 days.
Wow.
And she's 10 years old, and she went and found a way. And I know that her seeing me live my dreams is, you know, it's really made a huge impact on how she is.
And she's learning at an early age, something that I tell women all the time, to dig deep and pull it out. She's learning what I call the power of the ask. You never know what you can get access to unless you ask. And look at her at 10 years old. She's already learning the power of the ask. What's the worst thing that could have happened? Someone could have said no, or they could have said, no, not now. But she would have never known had she not grabbed the ability to own that power of the ask.
Yeah, it's pretty amazing. And I don't know if you follow astrology, but in the book on her birthday, which is August 16th, Madonna's birthday, it says, the first sentence says, they know what they want and they know how to get it.
Yeah. I mean, she's a Leo. I'm a Leo. Leos are, I mean, there are some shy Leos. I don't know any of them, but we're not hesitant to ask, because, and like I said, at worst, you'll say no. And then no for me means next.
Yeah.
What's that?
So, the importance of being able to ask for help is crucial. I could not do everything I do without my team. And, you know, being able to delegate, part of being a boss mama is being able to delegate to your team. And what was I going to say about that? Yeah, so having support. If what would you say to like someone that feels like they don't have the support? How can they build more support in their lives?
Networking. networking is so critical, and something that I think so many people lose sight of is the fact that you don't have to spend a lot of money to network, especially with social media being as expansive as it is. There are often meetups. You go on meetup.com, you go into Facebook groups, you go into, on Instagram. If you set up, your social media accounts, I have connected with so many amazing people via social media. I tell people all the time, the individuals who I rely on outside of, my family and closest friends, that I rely on the most are women and some men, but mostly women that I've known less than 5 years. And how did I connect with them? Social media, conferences. You've got to get out of your own backyard. I think what happens sometimes, people only look for support within their comfort zone. And I always say nothing truly exciting and new and transformational occurs in our comfort zone. We've got to get out there and meet new people. And that's not something that comes easy for individuals. And oftentimes it's a confidence issue. And, in my coaching practice, it's one of the things, that I work with a lot of women, especially aspiring entrepreneurs. You have to have your confidence level up. As you said, you got to boss up in that area of confidence, because people can see it and smell it coming a mile away. And there's so much competition out here. But and although no one can do what you do the way you do it, you've got to find ways to set yourself, apart from the pack. And getting out there and letting people know, this is what I love, this is what I'm doing, this is what my business is. How can I collaborate with you? How can I help you? How can I serve you? You'd be surprised when you make that offer to help someone else, how quickly in turn they have an opportunity to help you, one surfaces where they're willing to help you. So that to me is number one. Get out there and network. And there's so many articles. I mean, I've written some, there's some by other experts in the field on how to get out there and maximize your networking power, so that you do have a team. They may not be people who work for you, but there's so much value in having a team of mental and mindset supporters, or just resources. When you for example, I had some questions about Zoom the other day. I go into one of my Facebook groups, and 3 or 4 women, had, answers for me. If I don't, I had a question about providers who handle payments. The suggestions, there's so much out here. But like I said, with entrepreneurship, it's not easy. It takes work. You've got to get out there. And I always say true entrepreneurs show their colors real quickly, because you can see the ones who are just out there doing it every day, grinding, as some folks like to say, slaying it. But knowing this is my goal, I'm going after it, and I'm going to make it work. And I need other people to support me. So how do I find them? Where do I go? And they get out there and they make it happen.
Yeah. Oh, there's so much great stuff you just spoke into. Isolation, it's for moms, it can happen really easily. You feel like you're just stuck home with your baby and you're alone. Your husband's gone working. And so, Facebook, social media is great for connecting, finding other moms, play groups, getting out there. The importance of networking. I love networking. I love connecting with people. I love connecting with like-minded women and moms and just entrepreneurs. It's really exciting for me when you find someone you just really connect with and share the same vision. Like you, I really feel a strong connection with everything, you're doing for women and moms, and it's just amazing.
Likewise. And it is so important. It's one of those things, as I said, you see a lot of, things written on social media, memes and such, and I see the word sisterhood used so often. And one of the things that I stress in my communication and my messages is that, one, sisterhood has got to be more than a hashtag. We have to demonstrate it in our actions. And this one's a common one that you see often real women don't compete, they collaborate. And that to me is so, so very important. And then what I think you just said, Michelle, which I think the timing of this couldn't be better. I'm loving the fact that your audience, my audience, will see women who clearly, we have the same last name, but we're from a different tribe ethnically. But we're sitting here working together, promoting a message that will hopefully transcend the whole class of motherhood around the world. The person who, suggested that I reach out to you for this event, a woman who looks like you, more like you than me, reached out to me for me to be a part of her summit, who then put me in touch with you. This rainbow coalition that exists, I love the fact that we're sitting here today and showing the world it's about like-mindedness, it's about vision, and should be more about that, particularly in business, and less of all the other stuff that sometimes clouds our ability to work and collaborate with one another.
You're giving me so many chills right now. Good ones, of course. Yes, it is time for us to rise up as women. There is no better time than right now. And I think that, mindset is a huge thing that I was thinking, maybe you could share a little bit about that. You mentioned it of, positive mindset and, believing in yourself, and also having others believe in you. It helps you believe in yourself. And it's not always easy to stay positive and feel good. And there's a lot of self-doubt and fear, and doing new things feels scary, but like once you just do it, it feels so good.
Yes. I mean, I'd rather say I tried than have a ton of regrets and wondering why or if. Yeah, and there isn't a week that goes by that I don't sometimes question, what in the world am I doing here? Why didn't I just stay in my cushy job? Am I moving too fast? Is this an area that I want to venture off into? You're constantly doubting. But fortunately for me, I've just always been and I was this way as a kid. I probably drove my kids crazy. I was my parents crazy as a kid. I always wanted to try things. I was always adventurous. And as I said, I'd rather have attempted it and maybe not accomplish my goal than to sit and wallow in regret. And there's so many people who are not willing to do that. And it doesn't happen quickly for many of us. I mean, I grew up in Brooklyn, New York. One of my pastimes as a kid was playing double dutch. And I don't know how many people watching this are familiar with this. Two people are turning a rope, and the one girl, and sometimes, two girls, are on the outside and they're waiting to jump in and have their turn. So many women are outside of that rope waiting. I'm going to get in tomorrow. I'm going to get in next week. I'm going to start that business next year. And then before you know it, you blink and it's next year. And you've not done it. It's just, I think it's Steve Harvey who says, just jump. Just jump. Take that leap. And you won't be alone, because how many of us that are entrepreneurs, have had that moment? I don't know too many of us who didn't have that moment and are still having that moment, and they're in their businesses for years. But what I think is so helpful, as an entrepreneur, as a coach, as a speaker, when I go out and I have women, I had a woman come up to me at an event after I shared my story on stage, and she said to me, "Your story was my story, and thank you for sharing it, because I thought I was alone." When people come back to you with that kind of response to you sharing your story, or a coaching session, when someone says thank you, I had a woman say, "You saved my life." It's just so rewarding, and it reinstills in you the belief that this is my purpose. I'm doing this for a reason. And it's beyond the financial reward. It's more about watching someone's life being transformed and having that feeling inside when they tell you this. Because sometimes you have conversations with people, you don't know necessarily whether or not you've impacted them until they tell you. But when you get that feedback from people who've been in your space, it's the encouragement that just keeps on fueling the dream to keep going and serving more people.
Yeah, that is the ultimate feeling right there, when you really can impact and watch somebody transform their life and live their dream, and just the way they light up, and knowing that you had a part of that. It's the best.
It is. It's great.
Great. Well, you have a free gift for us, and I'm going to be sharing the link at the bottom of this video for that. And I want to thank you so much for your time today and being a part of the speaker series.
Thank you, Michelle. It's been great being here. I mean, nothing brightens my day more than to be able to be in the space of women who may be either contemplating entrepreneurship, who are struggling with balancing, and I hate using that word balance. I use the term healthy harmony. Women who are trying to find that healthy harmony between self-care, motherhood, parenting, relationships, finances, all of that stuff. It's just a great, I call it a blessing that I'm actually in a position to go out and help women, whether it's, their moms trying to start their own businesses, or moms who are in corporate America, because obviously with my human resources background, I'll never walk away from that. One of the things that I do with women who say, I don't want my own business, I just want to know how to go from point A to point B in my corporate career. And I have this process. It's the 3 V's. First of all, find your voice. You're a mom, and I know you've got a voice at home with your kids. Find that voice in the workplace and become visible. I know, having been in human resources, some of the women who would come to me behind closed doors wondering why they didn't get the same salary increase as men, it's because a lot of folks don't even know you're here. Get visible. Therefore, you get to that 3rd V of being compensated for your true value. So all of these things that I love doing in supporting women, supporting moms, it's something that I'm just so grateful to have an opportunity to do. And being here on your platform and sharing my story and sharing, my existence as a life strategist for mothers, I'm very appreciative of.
Oh, well, thank you so much for being here, and everything that you are, doing for women and offering for moms, and the support, and your message is incredible. And, keep doing you, and you're amazing.
Yeah, well, thank you. And ladies, just remember, motherhood is not where dreams go to die! Exclamation mark.
Yes. Don't be afraid. Live your dream. It's possible.
Yeah.
Anything is possible. I truly believe anything is possible.
Exactly.
Okay. Well, thank you again.
Thank you, Michelle. Thank you so much.
And be sure to check out the free gift. I'm going to post the link below this video.